Hello everyone, today we're looking at the last story for the Nintendo Wii. This was a series of games of JRPGs that had been made in Japan for the Wii specifically and weren't localized to the US. And this takes me back. And there was this little thing called Operation Rainfall where people essentially signed a petition and lobbied for a bunch of these games that looked really cool to come over to, the North America. And one of them was The Last Story, another one was Pandora's Tower, which I never picked up, and the last one was a little game called Xenoblade Chronicles. Yeah, I'm glad quite a lot of people play that now, right? So, but The Last Story is definitely one of them where some people probably heard of it and thought, oh, that looks kind of cool, but never picked it up. So I was one of those people that did pick it up, and I got a beautiful box set to come along with it and everything. How is the game? It's okay, honestly. This game has some very quirky mechanics. I mean, first of all, I do like the style of the game. It's definitely like, medieval fantasy, but there's lots of darks and grays in the colors palette that makes them seem kind of more modern and not as fantastical, and it gives them more of almost a Final Fantasy 15 kind of look. And so you play as the leader of a mercenary group named Zale, and you have a bunch of other characters like Yurik and I think Dangan is his name. It doesn't really matter because, again, the story of The Last Story is not very well told, honestly. I don't remember a lot of this game except, the Empire invades, and they have the story about the princess who is cooped up in her castle, and she wants to experience the world, and she sneaks out of the castle, and then you help her, see the world, and you all kind of together explore the market and go on a little date together, basically. And, honestly, this game looks really nice. It has a really nice atmosphere, and it looks pretty good, especially for its time. Speaking of weird mechanics, what I'm talking about is that this is a mostly live action RPG in that you use your, you attack, in the moment. And there's kind of like a Gears of War aspect to this game where a lot of the game is chest high walls, and you basically have this repeating crossbow, and it basically does work like Gears of War. You take cover, you aim out from behind cover, and you shoot. And this is kind of what I was saying about the Wii, that ever since Resident Evil 4, this game was made, or rather the Wii is made for third-person shooters, because using first-person perspective to move the screen feels really weird and janky. But the a benefit of having a third-person shooter game with motion controls is that you can aim exactly where you want to look and immediately shoot in that location, and it actually feels really, really good as Resident Evil 4 Remake on the Wii displayed. And so this has that mechanic too, and that's also something very strong about this game. Again, it's really interesting. You can, yes, dive into cover, aim out of cover, fire, blind fire, etc. And then, of course, vault over cover and engage into melee hand-to-hand combat, which is honestly most of the game. The other mechanic in this game that I also found really bizarre and strange was the armor customization. So yeah, okay, you can buy a piece of gear and it's all good and whatever. It also allows you to customize the color, and okay, that's cool. How many options do I have? And you have like 7 options for armor customization. It's almost too much, where you can choose the color of the buttons, of the jacket, of the lining on the upper rim of the collar. The amount of options for clothing customization is really just insanely out of control, honestly. It was overwhelming. It made me realize that 2, maybe 3 color customizations per armor piece is a good maximum to have, because anything outside or beyond that is just way too much, honestly, in my opinion. Of course, because of the localization that was done for these games, they all have UK accents of some sort. And so similar to Xenoblade Chronicles, you get a wide array of kind of interesting accents. Also, it's really cool that you have a hub world, a kind of, not exactly an open world, but you definitely do have a hub world to explore. the castle, the markets, the kind of side quarters. It's all very, cool and fun. And honestly, it's a pretty decently made game. The only problem with the last story is that the story is actually pretty forgettable. I actually don't remember a lot from it. I also remember there's this whole symbolism of this like white glowing tiger, and I could not for the life of you tell you what that is. I totally, absolutely forgot entirely. And so again, because of that, because the story is pretty generic and whatever, I really don't see this getting a sequel, and I really don't remember much about it. I remember it was like okay, but ultimately, if you can't even remember most of an JRPG, I really can't say it was a good experience. But yeah, like at least it tried. It went in a certain direction. I kind of like this more mature looking color palette and style of gameplay. But overall, I don't have anything, a strong lasting impression of it, sadly. So, with that being said, I guess that's all I can say about this game. See you later, guys.